Hello Bard haters, and welcome to another fine We Hate Bards Let's Play. I'm Ben, and this is more Fallout New Vegas, Hardcore Permadeath. Last time, we completed the Honest Hearts DLC, and as a result, we got a couple really quite awesome rewards. As you can see, me right here, let's kind of show it off. I am now currently wearing Joshua Graham's little bit, his armor, which is better than the Chinese stealth armor. And I actually double checked to see how much the max on the stealth armor is. It's 16, or not 16, 12. This is 15, and it weighs like half. So I'm gonna just be keeping this from now on. The other thing we picked up was we now have Joshua Graham's gun, and I'll go into first person here, kind of show you what it looks like. This is a gun, the classic Colt 1911, which is one of my personal favorite pistols. I don't know. I just love the just the classic look and just the awesome, the iconic nature of it. But in addition to just being an overall iconic weapon, this gun is actually really good for other reasons. It's got base damage 35. It can also be fired quite fast. It's only got a ammo capacity of 6, and basically everything else outside of that I just kind of sold to the gun runners. I have like one or two more things. I still have Daniel's little Bible that we got from him, and I'm just going to kind of carry that around for the rest of the game, because why not? But more importantly, this is going to affect our loadout for the next DLC we're planning to do, because I had to carefully think about what I was going to take with me on that. And before I even go and deal with that, I just realized I forgot to do something, so just give me one quick moment to fix that. Yeah, I sort of forgot to top off my food and water before I headed out to the next one, so I ate a bunch of my lower tier food that only gives 15 to 20 health, and then I drank a bunch of water out of the infinite water supply, one of the many infinite water supplies that are clean in this game, which is one of the things that makes it so much vastly easier. There is actually a hardcore mode for Fallout 3, I heard. Like, if you get the PC version, you can actually download an update or a mod or something like that gives you hardcore mode on that. I kind of want to try that now, maybe not for the channel, but just on my own time, because that would actually be a bit of a challenge. Because there's not really any unlimited pure water supplies in that one. In fact, I don't think there's a single one. It's all at least some radiation. And food is a bit more scarce than it is. You can't just buy it unlimited like you can here. Also, ammo having weight seems like it would suck. And you don't get as much for selling things as you would. So I kind of want to get that and maybe do a little bit of something with that. In fact, thinking about it, I may actually do it on the channel, because one of the other bar's admins has said something to me before about oh yeah, Fallout New Vegas is way harder than Fallout 3, which is a flat out lie. It isn't. Fallout 3 is by far the much more punishing game, but it's because he only ever plays Fallout New Vegas on hardcore mode. So I want to show him that given even ground, rather than having him play Fallout New Vegas on normal mode, because he flat out refuses to even do that. Rather than doing that, I'm going to play Fallout 3 on hardcore mode and show him, no, it's by far a much harder experience if you play Fallout 3 on hardcore mode. But enough about personal qualms. We are getting ready to do the next DLC today, and I'm going to show off exactly what it is just about now. So, here we are at the Mojave Drive-In, because the next DLC I'm going to be doing is Old World Blues. And to do that, we have to come here to the old Mojave Drive-In. Now, you also have to come here at a certain time. That an enemy? Screw it, I don't care. You have to come here at a certain time. It has to be right around midnight, within an hour on either end. Otherwise, this won't be doing anything and you can't go. But luckily, because of the fast travel, just put me here. It put me here at about 11 o'clock at night. So I have some time to kind of preface what I'm going to be doing and explaining how this is going to work. So, Old World Blues, unlike Honest Hearts, you don't have a weight limit. In fact, I would dare go as far as to say that Old World Blues is not the easiest DLC in hardcore mode, but it's the least changed DLC. It's the DLC that changes the least going from regular mode to hardcore mode. Because in Honest Hearts, you have a couple things working against you. You have the weight limit, which is much bigger in hardcore mode, and you have to be constantly scrounging for food and stuff. And then you have the divide, which is just generally harder all around, because it's hard no matter how you do it, but putting in hardcore mode just makes it even more difficult. And I think there's an extra little radiation element that comes in as well in the divide if you have hardcore mode on. And then of course there's Dead Money, which is going to be unbelievably insane in hardcore mode, because not only is the effects of the gas more drawn out, like you'll take more damage from it, I've heard. Also, since companions can die, if your companions die, and I found this out, if your companions die in hardcore mode while you're playing Dead Money, it's game over. So if that happens, that'll be the end of the run, and it's almost certain to happen given how many companions I've lost already. But as far as Old World Blues is concerned, I'm not aware of anything necessarily actively that changes other than you have to be eating, drinking, and sleeping. And given that they actually give you a base of operations for the entirety of this DLC, where nothing bad can happen, and you even have a repair, like a home servant person, like a robot, built-in AI in your home base, who will he will repair everything up to max for you. You have to pay money, but generally the stuff you scrounge up in the DLC is more than enough to pay the money for like repairing your weapons and armor and everything else. So it's not a terribly big deal. You also, if you get like all the companion matrices for like the various different things, which I'll get to that when we kind of go there. You can get like stuff that'll give you like extra crap tons of food and water. Like there's an unlimited water supply there. You can sleep in the bed. So none of the hardcore elements other than weight limit is really gonna come in. As for what I'm bringing with me, I'm going ahead and oh, I didn't even want to bring the 45 auto. I didn't even remember I still had this in my inventory. I thought I put this back. But never mind, I guess I have it here now. Oh, also that place that repairs your weapons, it also sells stuff. So you can actually buy more ammo if you run out. So it's very forgiving in a lot of ways. But I got that. I got the 12.7 mil submachine gun. I feel like I had more ammo for this, and I just didn't take it out. Right, I screwed this up. All right, no risky business. I'm gonna have to go there and come back. Sorry, everyone. Sorry. False start. Gonna have to go fast travel back and get some more stuff. Right, sorry about that, everyone. I made a stupid error and forgot to bring most of my ammo with me. And then when I got back, I realized that a lot of the ammo I had weighed way too much to take all of it. So I had to play a fun little game of inventory Tetris. Thank you once again, Hardcore Mode, for making ammo have fucking weight. And now my dehydration level is increased because I had to... When I came back here, it was about noon, so I had to wait for freaking 11 hours. Anyway, we're back here now, and now I can actually show off kind of some of the equipment I brought with me. So this time, the things that are coming with me are going to be my 12.7mm submachine gun, which, as you can see, I have quite a lot of ammo for. I also gave it, I bought a couple of upgrades for it, a couple of mods in the store because they were available. I bought the 12.7mm, or I bought the stacked magazine, which gives me an extra 6 rounds per magazine, which, given that the ammo capacity is fairly low for that in general, is really good. And the laser sight, which makes it more accurate, so the spread won't be as bad. I also bought a silencer for it, because I wanted to do, like, silent submachine gun. I thought that'd be awesome since I'm a sneaky guy. But for some reason, the mod, it wouldn't recognize that as an actual mod for the 12.7. I don't know if it's because the the silencer was considered to be a non-gunrunner mod, and this is a gunrunner 12.7. I have no idea why it wouldn't attach, but it just wouldn't. As I said, also, we're bringing the light shining in darkness, because I could have brought the 45 auto, but, well, first of all, it was a bit too heavy for me to take with me. And second of all, between the 12.7 and Vance's 9mm, which I'm also bringing with me, I didn't need another submachine gun. So I'm bringing this just in case I need a little quick, burst. I also got my anti-material rifle back with a fair amount of 50 mg rounds for it. So that's going to be fun. And more importantly, the chainsaw has returned. Yes, we remember the chainsaw. We've been missing that the past several parts. We haven't had the chance to just whip this baby out and just mow through people like I'd like to do. But now it's back. It is back, and it is in my hands and ready to do some destruction. I've also got the minigun back, and I'm so excited about that. And again, yet another reason I don't need the 45 auto, because this thing will freaking just wreck shit. I'm also bringing the shish kebab rather than the Ripper. Because even though the Ripper does more base damage, especially now that I gave it, because I modded the Ripper with the carbide teeth to give it more damage. But even still, this does an extra... yeah, it makes the DPS go up better, because the DPS on the Ripper is about comparable to this, even with the carbide teeth, but giving an extra HP, couple of HP a second, I think would just be a better way of going about it. It's also a bit lighter, So that's another benefit. Sniper rifle obviously coming with me, and this machine. They both use, again, the same type of ammo, but it's one of those things where I might switch back and forth between them just to, like, in case I need to go from, like, long range to more mid-range or close-range combat. This thing's actually quite good at, like, close to mid-range combat. Not great at long range, and it's not great for stealth kills, but I'll still be using it. As for my armor, I'm starting out wearing the Joshua Graham's armor and the Recon Beret, just because once you get into the DLC, it's going to change what you have anyway. And I'm also bringing with me my power armor. That's coming back. That's probably going to be... I'll change into that as soon as I get there, maybe. Or, actually, I might change back into Joshua Graham's just to sneak for a little bit. And the feature is started as it normally does. So I'm just going to start the DLC. And, yep, it'll tell us right here. Recommended for experienced couriers, level 15 up. Premonition, you'll be able to unable to return to the Mojave until you solve it. You'll be able to take anything you can carry with you, and you will be able to return to the Big Empty anytime after completing Old World Blues. So that's one of the things that makes this... While Honest Hearts, I think, is easier once you're in there, this is easier to get started off because you can bring more crap, and once you're done, you can just go back and forth as you please. So, as you can... And there's nothing else in here about, like, oh, well, this is going to affect you in hardcore mode. It's all going to be the exact same as it would be regularly. It's just you have, like, your gauges to worry about. So, with that, we will take a closer look at the satellite. And they're going to show, like, the little bit of intro here. I'm not going to, like, put this in. I'll just kind of sum it up once we get there.
The Great War.
Alright. And after that little intro spiel that they have, we find ourselves at Big Mountain. They call it the Big Empty because they abbreviated Mountain as MT. But... it is technically Big Mountain. We can get quite a few Sunset Sarsaparillas from this as well if we really chose to do so. Aha! My weight capacity is 300 now. I wonder why that could be. So yes, let me kind of brief you quickly on what we kind of learned in there. So this DLC, a lot of people love it. And I can personally respect the effort that went into it, and there are things I like about it. The creativity, the passion... the way this thing is laid out and just kind of all the technological stuff, it's kind of cool. The one thing I don't like about it is that the flavor text, they put a bit too much passion, and at times the flavor text just goes on and on and on, and we will see in a minute when we go to talk to, because there are people down in the Big Empty. There are people inside this place called the Sink, and as we go and talk to them, we're going to find out that they just drone, and it's supposed to be part of the lore. They're lonely and they've gone kind of insane from the years. I always just find it a bit tedious and annoying. But to start out, all we really know is that there's this place called the Big Mountain where a lot of research took place before the war. And they were all trying to find, like, the magic bullet, the one thing to that could like, win it for them and, like, push them over the edge. Obviously, weren't able to. China launched missiles, we launched missiles at everyone else, nuclear apocalypse, etc., etc., etc. So this place would kind of lay empty for years, and everyone in it was thought to be dead. But then they found a crashed satellite that had a teleport thing, or of some nature, that could bring us here, and now we're here. And all we actually know about the lore at this point is that the place is called the Sink, and you have the think tank, and you have Big Mountain itself, which we can't actually go to yet. Because they want us to actually go down and talk to the people. And as you do it, a strange feeling of pacifism comes over you. You cannot draw your weapon. The idea is, and I'll just kind of say this right now, when we came here, we were unconscious and they operated on us because they've been doing experiments on human beings to lobotomize them to keep them docile. But none of the experiments have really been working. We're actually, as we'll find out, the first human being that has survived having his brain and spine and heart pulled out and replaced with bionics. Which is also admittedly why our carrying capacity is so high right now. But because of those upgrades, we also were vulnerable to something called the pacifism field that the creators of this place have like kind of put throughout the entire thing. So yes, because they put that stuff in me, my mind is affected, or my new bionic parts are affected by the pacifism field. It will not let me draw my weapon or be in any way hostile. And now we're gonna go and talk to the people who sort of own this place. And what in the hell are these things?
I thought I heard the pacification.
And here we go. This is the part to me that's really annoying because it's meant to be comic dialogue because all these guys are insane and talking to each other, and I always just find it kind of annoying. So we're gonna try and say something to them, and they're gonna be really surprised about it. See?
Did it just say penises? I see wriggling.
I believe
Yeah, it's comedy because you said the word penis. That's
little teddy
adorable.
bear toes.
So yep, now we have speech check. This is actually one of the interesting things about the DLC, is that if you have high enough stats on various things like science or speech or guns or whatever all else you have, you can make a lot more checks. There are a ton of ability checks that you can make as you're kind of going through here, skill checks. So we can either do Science 55 or Speech 55, both of which we have. And I'm going to click this one for no apparent
Now it's
reason.
holding up an array. Big fools.
Yes, and here is the sort of supervillain behind the whole thing. And he'll kind of play the comic foil bad guy to this whole little thing we're going through. Mobius, he basically, and you find this out later, all these guys are actually completely insane, and they want to get out into the greater wasteland and like do science experiments and lobotomize more people and just generally cause chaos. And Mobius is actually, even though he's playing the villain here, it turns out he's actually he's actually the only sane one among them, which is one of the things I like about the DLC, and we'll see it more later, obviously. It's the fact they set Mobius up as like this big villain, and like these guys, oh, we want to do stuff, and you talk to them and you find out what they want to do, and then you confirm it with Mobius. He's like, no, they're all completely nuts. So I've been threatening them to keep them here and keep the rest of the wasteland safe. And Mobius is actually like the only one who knows what he's doing. So we'll explore more in detail how we're going to deal with that later. Anyway, let's ask them about the lobotomy that they performed. And this is where we find out what each of these things have done. They remove our brain, our heart, and our spine to give us the brainless, heartless, and spineless perk. Even though your brain getting removed, they play it off like it's a bad thing, like, oh yeah, you don't have a brain anymore, you're not human. Well, no. Now our head can no longer be crippled. You don't have to worry about the screen fading in and out anymore. And you're also more resistant to chem addiction. And you get a plus 5% to your damage threshold, with a minimum of plus 1. And it's all dependent on what you're using. So if you're using power armor, you'll get, I think, grand total, with what I have, I get like 3 or 4 damage threshold, which will be quite nice. It'll mean I'll be able to take that much more damage. And with Medicine at 55, you can also notice that not only are there sutures on my head, there's sutures on my chest and back.
Darla.
With this, we are now immune to poison, which would have been extremely useful to go into Honest Hearts with. Maybe I should have done this one first in retrospect. But now I cannot be poisoned, and all healing items now function 25% more effectively, and robots are 50% more or less likely to score a critical hit, which is useful in this DLC because you're fighting a lot of robots. Although, now that I think about it, this will never actually be useful again, because the last 2 DLCs, I don't think either of them have any robots. The Divide might, but Dead Money definitely doesn't. They also remove my spine, and strength and damage threshold are permanently increased by 1, that means my strength is now max. And now I'm just going to I'm basically going to skip through the rest of this dialogue and tell you any salient points we need. If you want to know more about the lore of the DLC, play it yourself. It's actually not bad. Like I said, there's a lot of thought and effort that went into this. This part really drags itself out. Okay, and this is what I was talking about earlier. If you have high enough skill checks, you can actually get some really good stuff. So my energy weapons is really low. Otherwise, they would give you like, I can't remember. It's like a specialized energy weapon of some description. And I know that's really, really specific, but I don't think I've ever actually had energy weapons 50 for this. But I do have guns 100, so I should be able to get both the special guns that they can give you. Okay, so with guns 50, we were able to get ourselves a new weapon, and we can actually get a bunch of bullets for it as well. If you're wondering why it says the gun looks really hungry, make sure, because you will find out why we're talking about feeding a gun bullets here in a minute.
Fine. Top shelf ammunition.
I really wish we had been able to get the energy weapon, because I might have gotten it once, and I remember it being quite good, but for the life of me, I just more wanted the gun they gave me, the specialized gun. Because if you don't get it here, you can get it later on in the game. And in fact, I'll actually probably end up finding that other gun, the other version of the gun, and using it as a repair version, or just selling it to Vendertron upstairs. Getting it now is just I really like it, and I cannot wait to finish this stupid conversation and show it off.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we asked about the gun that we got, because the energy weapon that because we got something called the sonic emitter. It's another energy weapon, and it's designed to be able to disable force fields, but it doesn't have the appropriate sonic audio code thing that'll let it do so yet. And finally, we're freaking done with this. Oh, wow. I'm over encumbered. So, permit me to show you one of the awesome new guns I just got. As you were, I can't show you the awesome new gun I just got because I realized I can't draw a weapon down here. And since I'm over encumbered, it's time to begin the long, slow walk back up to the sink to store some of this crap. Because the room upstairs in the sink, that place I went through earlier, that's mine now. I own it, basically. They gave it to me because they don't have need of it anymore. And I can just use that to sort of do basically anything I need to do. Alright, so I need to put some of this stuff... Oh wait, before I put all my stuff away, let me show you my awesome new gun! It's a puppy! And it actually makes noise as you do stuff. It won't right now, but later on we'll get to see. Like, yeah, it's got little ears that kind of go back and forth, little robot ears, and it's so adorable. I love this gun! Sorry if I sounded a little weird there, but I love dogs. Right, so I kind of respect all my stuff, put away things I didn't need, kept out stuff I did. I mostly just stored ammo. And 10 purified water. That's actually quite useful. Yeah, here we go. Sink. Yeah, so we will basically never run out of water, and there's a ton of food in here, I think. Because you have the apple, the pear, pinion nuts, sugar bombs. I'm going to take the xander root and the brock flower, because that can be used for making stim packs. So the butler personality mentioned when I was talking to him and getting ready to trade that there were other personality units, and that each one was associated with a different function. Most of them are kind of useless. Some of them are kind of good. Like, if you get the personality matrix back for, I believe it's this thing, the biological research station, they'll make different types of mulch for you that can work to satisfy hunger requirements. You've also got an auto dock that can you can use to customize yourself, and there's a couple other bonuses you can get from it as well. Not really sure what they are, but it's there. And then the rest are just stuff you can give people. Like Muggy has his own personality. I think he's a little mini Securitron who like takes mugs and breaks them up and gives you stuff. So I'm not going to try and get all of them, but I'm at least going to try and get a couple, the useful ones. One other last thing to note before I go and do the next bit is I actually left my power armor here. I know I brought it along, but I'm not planning on using it necessarily right now. I'm mostly just going to chill in Joshua Graham's armor, which I don't think I have equipped even at the moment. No, because it equipped the patient down. Now I do. But yeah, the bonus of critical and being light armor and allowing me to sneak are going to be more useful than heavy armor at the moment. I will need the heavy armor later, particularly when I go to fight a certain boss enemy. But for right now, just like the little exploring of the sink, or exploring of the big mountain, I'm mostly just going to have my light armor. And now that I'm back here, I'm going to quick go around and talk to everybody and get all... Where is everybody? Oh, they're all just kind of scattered, are they?
I don't understand.
I know there's like 6 of these guys, and like you can talk to them and do stuff. Alright, I will meet back with you once I've talked to all these guys and kind of tell you what I've learned. Okay, so while talking to Dr. Zero here, even though you call him Dr. O, but it turns out his name is actually Dr. Zero, he gave me 2 things of scrap metal because he broke a terminal. He is the klutzy one. And again, that's more just of the in-universe lore for this. He also gave me 50 more caps and a crap ton of experience. I don't even know how I did it. I think it was because I completed like a mini quest of you're supposed to help Dr. Zero get through some sort of emotional thing. And it took me, you have to have like an intelligence 9 and a science of like 80 to do it, to make the checks. But I did, and it gave me like 600 experience, which was enough to level me. So level 28, this is going to be interesting. Because I've already maxed out pretty much everything I'm going to need. Melee weapons I could technically max out as well, just to get like the chainsaw up to max effectiveness, but I don't even really need to do that. I mean, medicine is going to continue to be important, so I'm probably going to put that up by 10. And then as for the rest of these, I think I'm going to put them into explosives, because I do have explosive weapons I'd like to try out. Actually, you know what? No. I just realized, energy weapons. There are lots of energy weapons in this DLC. So I'm going to just dump points into energy weapons for right now. And in fact, tell you what, I don't even need medicine as much for this DLC. I won't need that till later. So we'll continue on like that. Now, the perk is going to be interesting, because with a perk, I don't actually know... There's very few perks left that I necessarily need, but there are a few that could be situationally quite useful. Ooh, better criticals. You gain a 50% damage bonus every time a critical hit is scored. For a sniper, that's actually quite useful. In fact, I'm probably going to end up taking that. Let me just quick check and make sure there's nothing else I really want. Yeah, I think I'm going to take better criticals. I think the only real perk that's going to do me any good... Well, not the only real perk that's going to do me any good, but the perk that's going to do me the most benefit is going to be better criticals. 50% damage bonus on a crit, like a sneak attack crit. especially the further on we're going in the game and the more and more damage enemies will be able to take, I'm going to need every single point I can get. Something else to be said for this DLC, you find a shit ton of mentats just lying around. Like, seriously, half the containers I've opened have had at least 1 or 2 mentats in them. Okay, here we go. There's one quick thing I want to point out with the lore. They do talk about another courier, because there actually is another one who's kind of key to the game. They mention him a little bit in the base game, but more so in the DLCs. And it'll come to a head in the Divide when we get to that DLC. But there's another courier who kind of came out west with you, and he will come up later. And here's another little bit of lore that kind of comes up. They were talking about like a visitor. They've had several visitors. One of them is another courier. The third is a man named Father Elijah. And if you listen in the base game, he used to be Veronica's mentor until the Brotherhood kicked him out for some of his extremist ideas. And he left and sort of wandered the wasteland. Made his way here, broke out of the think tank, destroyed a bunch of shit, and then escaped. But we may or may not run into him later on. Alright, so went through and talked to all the different, like, people in there, all like the robo-brains and the scientists and everything, to get a little bit of background information lore. And there's also like 3 or 4 quests that can be completed just by talking to them and not doing anything else. Yeah, even just talking to them, like, you'll get quests just to find out more about stuff that happened. You'll get a couple other quests to go to different places. And as of right now, we actually have 3 main areas we can go. Because I skipped past it, but there actually is, they want us to go and get 3 bits of technology to go and do Mobius' thing. So we're back to, like, the law of 3 again. But this time, rather than having to do 3 sets of 3, we just have to do the 1 set of 3 and then go and deal with Mobius. So the 3 places we need to go are over to X13 to grab the stealth suit, down to, can't even see it, can we? Down to the X2 transmitter antenna array, because there is a transmitter antenna, and over to the X8 research center to get, oh, what is that? I think the, can't even remember what it is. There's something we have to get another bit of technology, like a certain code or something. We also have to grab the sonic emitter thing from there, like a new code. And once we've got all that, that will send us up here to this little dome up here that we can't quite see from where we're at. But that's where Mobius is. And we need each of those items to actually unlock and go through. And they all work kind of in tandem. And just so this part doesn't become entirely just me talking at you and with nothing else interesting happening, I figured I'd kill someone for you. So congratulations, you got to watch me kill one thing on screen for the Old World Blues DLC. And next time there will be a lot more of killing and blowing up and things happening like that. I had to get a lot of things set up, and like I said, there's a buttload of text right there at the beginning, like massive amounts of exposition, massive need to talk to all those guys over and over and over and over and over again to get all the dialogue they can give you and all the lore and to get some extra quests and craft them an experience. Actually, if you look up here, we are almost to the point where we can level up again. We are about 900 experience off because of all the quests we've done. So basically, the very next thing we do, and we might even be able to kill enough people because there's a ton of enemies in this area, we will pretty much level up and get a chance to increase our stats again. So while this thing goes back and forth from hidden to caution, as dude over there keeps finding his friend's body and thinking there's something up, I'm going to call it right here. And next time we are going to go ahead and we are going to explore the big mountain. Actually, hold on. I can see this guy finding his friend's body. Piss. Wait, that hit him and didn't kill him? Okay, that could be an issue. Right, so that just took 3 shots with an anti-material rifle, 2 of which were crits, to kill this dude. Anyway, I'll continue on with the rest later on, and we'll go and I'll wreak more havoc, and probably take lots of damage and cry and have to like find ways around it and burn a ton of stim packs. Although I did find like a dozen stim packs going through there tonight, and now I'm more than good on stim packs for the moment. Anyway, next time, like I said, going and getting stuff, helping out more with people, and what is this damage threshold? Not anywhere near high enough for that to work. But in the meantime, thanks as always for watching, guys. I was Ben, and this was Fallout New Vegas Hardcore Permadeath. See you next time, everyone.